Hi, let's take a look at several features in one video, and these are some of the things that we've added in the last month or so that I think you'll find very helpful. None of them are giant features, but they're all things that just make using the software a little bit easier, and you know, it depends on what your use case is. They may be giant for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull up a list of patents, and so we just choose where the assignee name current is Google, so that's what we have here. And one thing I want to show you is the parsed claims. So now in the claims tab, we can see that each of the limitations is parsed, and it just makes reading patents a little bit easier. So I think if you're going through at that detail level, or maybe you're trying to show infringement and you have to show each one of these limitations, limitation after limitation, then I think you'll find it much easier to get through these using that parsed claims system. So that is parsed claims. Another thing I want to show you on this document details window here is in the biblio, we have the inventor addresses explicitly stated. So there's only one inventor on this patent, but if there were two, we would see the second address. And so we've always been able to search those, right? I could say, and inventor city is Kirchner, right? So signing name is Google and the inventor city is Kitchener. So we could see other Google patents where at least one inventor lives there. Maybe it's the same guy, maybe not. So that'll just help you, I think, in a lot of cases, just to try to understand where these guys are coming from, or if they worked in a very close group, where at least they live in the same metro area, or maybe a guy from Japan was working with a guy from Massachusetts and another one from Europe, and that just gives you some idea that this thing was contributed by people all over the world. So that's an inventor addresses. If we're in the document details, so we'll play with the same document here, I want to show you what we've done with superfacets. So if I say tools, find similar documents, use claims text. So this is going to use the claims as the query, and it's going to find similar documents to this 940 patent. Now, the way this works is that the recall is huge, right? We've got 11 million documents here, but the precision is in the sort, right? It's no accident that this 940 patent, which is the source document, showed up number one. So the best documents are at the top of the list. I've done other videos that show you that this is really a better implementation because it allows you to get the full list, always maintain that sort, and saying, well, what if I added a restriction, etc. But what we've done recently is that we've pretty much canonized the facets, right, which are the elements inside of the filters, to the first 200. So of these 11 million, the first 200, which are the most similar documents, are what we're going to show you in like this assignee current. So Microsoft has 32 of the first 200. So this is clearly marked in this case in these ranked lists. Right? There's other cases like when you use query flow, you will also get a ranked list, and we will also use these superfacets. And 200 is what we think is the right number. So we can see Apple has 29 out of the first 200, and if we can filter into those, and of course we're going to get more than 29 because that list was just from the first 200, but 30,000 Apple documents. But again, these first 29 from here up would have been on that first list. So that is superfacets, and I think you'll find that it's pretty consistent and it works. It works very well, and then it's tuned, I think, much better than it was before. So that's that. Other thing I want to show you, you know how sometimes, like look at these titles here. We've got this nice tidy grid, but you can't really read all these titles. Some of them are pretty long, but notice when I hover my mouse, I get this tooltip that pops up and it shows me the complete title. So that way you don't have to stretch your title out, and even then it's not long enough and it just gets kind of crazy. This is just a nice tidy way. You can just put your mouse over it and read them. Makes it a little bit quicker for you. So that is the rollover tooltips. Another thing we've done, let's kind of get out of here. I'm just kind of hauling through these so you can see them, is that matrix queries are now shareable. So if I wanted to take my matrix on cloud computing and I wanted to share it with Eric, I would just select it, choose share, and all of these folks are people in my group, so I would see them, and I'm going to give Eric full access to it. And so now Eric has read-write access, and he'll be able to view that. It's going to show up in his shared matrices, so it'll show up on when he opens up his, then it'll show me as the owner, but he'll have access to it now. So that is shared matrices, which is, again, very handy. Okay, so let's talk about Family ID. We'll go back to the Google list. And way over to the right, I've exposed my Family ID. All right, and this is a sortable, so each patent family has a unique Family ID number. And so we could sort on that, and I'm going to show you what these, see how these color bars just appeared? I'm going to kind of give you an idea of what those mean. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do it the hard way, and I'm going to drag this Family ID over and scroll and drag again and see if I can get it kind of close to my document number. Okay, and this is really just for this demo. I'm going to put it right there, and I'm going to refine this using some advanced syntax, and it's right in the help. It's real easy to find it. Anna, SFAM, count just means the family size, and I'm going to say 10 to star. And remember, that's a range query. So sorry, I did 20. Just 20 to star is good enough. So we'll just search into these. And I've sorted by Family ID. And so what you'll notice here, we're looking at some bigger families here. So this guy, notice how they're all white? Oh, and then we go to a whole set where they're brown or they're gray. And see, these are all the same family number. These are all the same family number. And then these are all the same family number. So that alternating bar thing is just a way that you can visually group these together so that you know, without sort of having to look at a number, that these gray guys all belong to the same family. Last thing we'll talk about is something on export. So when you export all, right, Family ID is an exportable column. So you can manipulate them in Excel and do some interesting things with that Family ID and keep stuff grouped together that way. So that is one. But another one I want to show you is citing assignees. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my query first. And I'm going to say, and Anna, now this is a different one because I'm going to do in ref underscore count. And I'm going to say, let's just keep the list small, 52 star, so more than 50. So this is the one for citing assignees. By the way, these codes, they're right here. This is an analysis code. So there's the inref count, and there's some examples. Here's the simple family count. And so if you wanted to do those types of things, so we'll update this search. And I'm just showing some of Google patents with lots of forward citations. There's still 1,415. But when I export these, I can, of course, add the Family ID. We already did that. But I can also say, let's add the citing assignees. And let's take a look at what happens here. We'll open up that spreadsheet. And notice this column here. Right? It's this first column. We'll show it to you here. Citing assignees. So I think it's kind of neat. Right, you can see, okay, Google self-cite 36 times, Rico 32, Blanding 1, HP 1. And so that's just how it appears. So if you are good at Excel, you can do some pretty amazing things with this citing assignee and the number. I think that's one of the interesting things is that you can see that these, very quickly we can see these are a lot of self-cites by Google. Right, we look at another one here. Microsoft has cited this document 46 times, BlackBerry 5. On and on. So that is called Citing Assignee Export. That is also available, and it's a great feature. Hope you like some of these new things, and look for some other great announcements coming up. We're real excited about this next batch coming up in the next few weeks. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.